Hey everybody, crazy concert weekend here in Michigan. Some fans really acting like freaks. Wait till you hear these stories. And speaking of stories, Spike spilling the tea. Why is he no longer on the radio? What the hell? All right, everybody, let's get to it. All right, everybody, welcome back. Another episode of Spike and Hank Detroit's podcast. We are here in the Mike Morris Law Studio. We are produced by Podcast Nation. And the support we have from our people, our friends, I guess you could say fans, has been overwhelming from that first kind of teaser trailer, the one where you're kind of walking in front of the train station, and the video that Jake says that I look like kind of a homeless bum who is waiting for your phone call.
First of all, you didn't like that one because you were laying on the couch looking kind of like a bum.
Right.
I didn't like the second one that dropped today because of my tan lines are just the topic of conversation. And listeners have to realize that we actually recorded that the day I got back from a week-long African safari. So I was like tan to here.
Yeah.
And then you see us on the rooftop announcing this great platform, this podcast, and I'm just white. It's like a line. It's horrible.
We should have spray tanned you, baby. But
we should have. I look like a creamsicle because I also had shorts on. So I'm orange. I'm orange at the top and at the bottom. Pasty white in the middle. I think I just described Trump. I'm like a creamsicle, and it's all I could focus on is like my farmer's tan in that video.
Well, we need a little spray tan next time.
Yeah.
The comments, some of them were actually pretty funny. I want to throw some of them up here on the screen because, of course, we were trying to respond to as many as possible. This just shows you the dedication from people. So nice. When and where on Tuesday? I'm in Germany. I need to be prepared.
I had a bunch of people saying, like, tell me what time you're announcing Tuesday morning so I can actually call into work. Like they wanted to be late to work so they could be there for the drop of the pod. And I felt a great responsibility with that, making people late.
Sure, yeah. And we were reading these last night as we were eating pizza in my backyard like pigs and drinking champagne. Throw another one up there, Benner. This one I love, Eunice.
They're just shouting out your dog.
People are just like, they saw the dog in the video. She also looked lazy and fat, and they're just all in it to win it. All right, there's, I think, another one, right? Someone tell me who's Hank.
Obviously, one of my listeners.
I was like, okay, this is great.
But we were on your patio last night, kind of celebrating that this is the big launch today and that everybody's finally going to be able to listen.
Yeah.
And I realized, like, what are we doing late at night? The mosquitoes are biting my face. Mm-hmm. We're getting drunk on champagne and having this bloated pizza. And I was just like, why? I'm going to be late. I'm going to be puffy. It's going to be messy because I never had to worry about video before.
Well, welcome to real life, baby.
Well, I cut myself shaving. So then I was like, am I perfect? No. But am I also trying to improve myself? Also no. But I'm going to work on this visual thing because it annoys the crap out of me. I don't know how you would leave the house every day knowing you have to be on camera for hours.
I would be half ready when I got to the station. And then, before I did anything, I'd throw a little of the cake makeup on.
I'm going to have to learn your tips because I actually came sweaty. I'm like, I can bring a shirt and change when I get there instead of wearing it. But
but wait, real quick, because we have gotten, and we promised in this episode that we'd spill a little tea. I've been bombarded with DMs, and I appreciate it. I love a good DM. Mm-hmm. But people are asking so much about what happened between you and Mojo, what the relationships are like now. I just want to make it very clear. I'm not letting you off the hook on this crap. People want some of this stuff answered. And later on in this episode, we're going to get back to this. I do have questions that people have asked.
Yes.
And I think it's important that you...
you did a note card this time.
Correct, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I have an actual note card. I have questions. I myself have questions, but I feel through the course of the last several months, you've answered many for me.
Yes.
But I understand when people have questions of their own. So we will be talking, whether you want to, Mr. Spite, about your departure from that.
All right. I did promise in this episode that we would address that. So we will. Good. But let's do that at the end because first I want to talk about the weekend. There were some major concerts going on in the Metro Detroit area. First of all, your daughter was a Kids Bop, which is just,
a jam.
A jam.
Yeah.
I always feel bad for parents when you get to that age because I had to go to the Kids Bop concerts and the what were those 4 guys? The Teletubbies?
I remember
And the
Teletubbies.
Wiggles.
The
is what I was
Wiggles.
thinking of.
That's for the littles.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it was a little bit different this weekend. I was at Jack White, but the big show everybody was at was Morgan Wallen.
Yeah.
2 nights, 70 to 80,000 people per night. So we're talking about, what's that, 150,000 if my math is bad?
I thought it was even more than that. Didn't they fill
Well, the big house fills more, but they had to make room for staging and
Okay.
production. Now, this is only the second artist that's ever played a concert in that 99-year-old stadium, which was not built for concerts.
Yeah.
The infrastructure is horrible. There's only one shallow tunnel to get in and off the field.
Yeah.
So a lot of major concerts couldn't even have something there unless they were going to airlift in all the pieces for the staging and lighting and sound.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
So they had to get very creative, and they had to create a stage. And they, from what I heard, I wasn't at Morgan Wallen.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying the production was insane. It was great, and he loves his pyrotechnics and his
Okay.
big stage and lighting. So they must have spent weeks loading all that in. Since it's the off season, they probably have more time than they would during football season.
Yeah.
But they took great care to have to do these trucks through the tunnel, the infamous tunnel
Yeah.
that Bo would carry that team through, and they couldn't disturb a thing. So it was an experiment, but it worked for people.
Wow.
Have you heard about the Morgan Wallen problem with the concerts?
Well, I heard something that happened at a different stadium.
Yes.
Not in Ann Arbor.
In Baltimore, it's happened several times at several shows, but now in Baltimore, the guy actually called the cops because people have been relieving themselves at their seats. They don't want to leave the concert, so they stay in their seats and pee right there where they're standing. So it's happened several times, and not just Morgan Wallen. I think Noah Kahn, a couple other artists have been dealing with this too. People don't want to leave their seats. They just pee right there. But this guy whipped it out and started peeing, and a dad and his 2 daughters were standing next to him. Felt the splash.
Oh.
So they
So not even peeing into a cup, just like
right,
letting
just
it
letting
fly.
it go. The guy whipped it out, and so he's exposing himself to the girls.
A crime.
So this guy grabbed security, grabbed a cop. They came, and he filmed the guy and tried to shame him. Cops escorted him out, but they would not press charges, they said, because they didn't witness it. Even though the whole section watched this guy do it.
Well, that's a very odd thing because I think there's many crimes in which police don't witness it.
That's
but they
exactly
still
what I was
charge
thinking,
people,
right?
Or the
So,
prosecutor's office.
Especially when you have a bunch of witnesses standing around, like,
Yeah.
dude, just so they didn't want to deal with it. But this has been an ongoing problem with pee and poop.
Okay.
Apparently,
Now you've crossed the line.
I know, but
Yeah.
apparently in Noah Kahn, some dudes didn't want to leave their seat, and they did much worse than even that. And Olivia Rodrigo talked about this at the festivals. Have you ever heard of pit diapers? When people go to festivals and they want to be in the front row and they have to wait for hours, they don't want to lose their spot. They
Yeah.
wear diapers, and all night they're just taking care of themselves in the diaper. Like,
Well, at
instead of-
least they're planning ahead for it.
Well-
I mean, at least they're wearing a diaper and not exposing themselves.
But in this interview I watched, Olivia Rodrigo said, "I just want you fans to know we can smell that from the stage."
God.
Isn't that gross?
That's disgusting. I mean, listen, nobody loves Madonna more than myself, and I was front row center for that last show at LCA.
Yeah.
There was never a moment in time where I'm like, ooh, I have to go to the bathroom. I will just relieve myself here in 1C.
Right.
I'm not doing that. No, I can take a break. It's going to be okay.
The worst
There are
part-
slow moments, you know, when Live to Tell starts and I see the candles starting and the lighters going. I'm like, all right, this is good bathroom time.
Well, the worst part about these like Morgan Wallen concerts is they're just in regular seats. You have a ticket with a number on it. You can just run for half a song and come back.
Yeah.
It's not even a front row issue where you have an excuse. Not that there's an excuse, but while we're talking about bad concert behavior, I was at Jack White on Saturday night, and first of all, it was the lamest crowd. I hate to call out fans. of
Really?
shows, but I was like, what do you guys do? You had to fight the same fight I had. That show sold out in 11 minutes.
Wow.
So we were all frantically scrambling on Ticketmaster the morning that show went on sale. He sold out 25,000 seats immediately. So as you're trying to buy tickets online, you're watching these seats disappear, you're panicking, you're trying to get your credit card number in. So all these people in my section, I'm thinking, you had to work as hard as I did. You must have been a big fan. Why are you just standing here like you're on probation and they made you come for work release? Or it looked like a class assignment. Everybody's just standing with their arms folded, watching, and they're not even doing the concert sway or tapping their foot. So what is up with
That's
you?
a very odd thing for, especially a Jack White show in Detroit.
Yeah.
You were at the Pine Knob, I'm assuming?
Yes,
Okay.
and he's never played Pine Knob before.
Oh.
So He usually does smaller. He loves to play Detroit. So
Yeah,
play
like St. Andrews.
Yeah,
stuff
so
like that.
I saw him at the Blind Pig in Ann Arbor. But the thing is with him, he feels the energy and he wants you to be excited, and he'll call you out if you're not, and he won't do encores if people aren't crazy.
So what
So
happened?
the more excited you get, the more. They finally warmed up, but then I talked to people in other sections. They said it was better, but it took away from my experience. Like, come on, guys, get into this. And I was like, well, hell with you. I'm dancing. I'm having fun. But he did a phone-free show, and I don't know if you've ever been to one of those before. Madonna just started doing those too.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of when I saw the Gaga if she had a phone free. No, there was somebody I saw that was phone free. I can't remember. And let me tell you what, I didn't mind it. I
like it.
Enjoyed the idea.
Yeah, I like it because it does let you connect more with the show and pay more attention.
Yeah.
Because by nature, we're all addicted and we're constantly just, it vibrated. What's going on? And you're
Yeah.
out of that zone. And that's the whole thing he said when he made this policy is music is a 100% human experience. Jack White says it should be shared in person, not through screens. Share the energy of the room instead of staring at a gadget. So what they do is when you get to the show, they give you a little pouch that locks with a magnet. So you put your phone in, you could power it down, then they lock it. And you could keep it on, you put it in your pocket, but you can't see it, you can't use it, unless you go to one of the bar areas. So some people were so dramatic about this because they obviously didn't read the 23 emails or the fact that Jack White's been doing this for years. And they're all in the, there was a woman in the bathroom in front of Megan being all dramatic saying, my dog has congestive heart failure. Now I can't check my text to see if he's surviving. And I'm thinking, why'd you come to the show?
Right. I mean,
if your dog, you made a choice.
Right.
So you decided you chose Jack White concert over the dog. But, like I said, you can use the phone. You just go to one of the bars, they unlock it for you. You can check your stuff. You just can't use it at your seat, which is the annoying part when people are holding up their phones in front of you at a concert. And I don't mind. Listen, I'm a guy. I always record a moment. I want to remember I was there. I'll do 30-second video. But there's those people that record the entire show.
Yeah.
Like, what are you documenting? You're never going to look at this again.
Those might be the people with like the YouTube channel, where they kind of upload the entire concert. It's kind of a spoiler. Having said that, I will watch an entire concert before I go to a concert.
You will?
Well, I want to know kind of the order of things because I want to know when I need to go pee.
First of all, there's websites like Setlist you can look up the band's entire. You can get their encore. But the fact that these people are live streaming, if you like the show, buy a damn ticket and come sit with us. Don't sit at home and then somebody's in front of me. I'm 5'6" with shoes on a good day.
Right.
I don't want this the whole time in front of me.
Yeah.
I had a lady at Muse 2 weeks ago. I was at a concert and a lady was holding her iPad in front of me.
Oh my God.
I'm like, what are you doing? I can't see the show. You hold this cafeteria table tray in front of me. And, we paid for the show, but there's a bigger issue of like manners at concerts that I realize now. People have this main character syndrome where they're not there to see the show. They're there for the backdrop of I was at the show.
Sure.
And they want to record themselves dancing.
Yeah.
And they want to
live that on social media and let everybody know they were there.
Oh my gosh.
Fancy tickets and the whole thing.
Filming themselves. And they're screaming loudly the lyrics to every song. So, and I saw this in a lot of the Morgan Wallen videos this weekend. You can't even hear him singing in the video.
Yeah.
You hear the fan drunk, off key, singing every word. Like, ruined the Billie Eilish tour for me because I know people are very fanatic about a Billie Eilish or a Taylor Swift, but you can't hear the artist singing because there's 10,000 drunk people around you all singing, screaming the lyrics.
So the U of M stadium has had what? It was Luke Bryan. Luke
Bryan was the first one last
and then
year.
Morgan Wallen. So it's like it's these country artists that. But I was trying to think last night. I think we were talking about it, but we drank a little too much champagne for me to remember. But what artists could actually fill that space, especially 2 nights in a row?
There's a few. If Oasis came to Detroit,
really?
I feel like
Oasis?
they sold out their shows. They did Wrigley Field, Toronto. They did New York. They didn't. Harry Styles probably could.
Okay.
Because he did like 11 or 12 nights
Wembley.
at the Garden in New York City.
Yeah, he did Wembley.
Yeah. There's only a handful now with concerts because the problem is they're selling tickets start at $300.
Wow.
Jack White did have a good section. I think the lawn he did for $100, which was very fair for concerts nowadays.
Okay.
But you can't buy tickets for that cheap anymore. I bought Gorillaz in the fall, and that band's charging like $250 $150 a ticket for.
Wow.
And this is like, I try to get lower bowl, but they're not even like first 10 rows I would expect to pay that much.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but there's not a lot that could fill what is one of the largest stadiums in the United States, especially multi-nights.
Yeah.
But it's good for them to do it. I think they brought in over 4 or 5 million profit.
Oh, I'm sure. And I appreciate it. Listen, I'm not a fan. I'm sure he's a great artist. He's obviously got a huge following. But I appreciated that he tried to, bring a little Detroit to it, walking through the tunnel with Aiden Hutchinson for one of the shows. I think the hockey players.
Yeah, the Olympic.
Yeah, was part of the second night.
Yeah, and he does that on his whole tour. Like, that's a big thing. You never know. Like Taylor Swift did. You never know who they're going to bring out as a special guest.
Yeah.
It's fun. And I realize I sound like a cranky old man here sitting here going, they're phoning, they're filming, and they're dancing. But like, I love having a good time. Get so into the music that you don't even realize there's people around you.
Right.
It's just the people that aren't there for the music. Sure. It drives me crazy. If you're just filming yourself and you're doing the TikTok dances, like your outfit fit check, it's like, no, that's not what you're here for.
Well, another big crowd over the weekend, another big event. And this is not going to be a very political podcast. We're not here to change anybody's opinion on anything. But when things are newsworthy, you have to kind of talk about things. And it was the White House Correspondents Dinner, which you may remember several months ago. That was the first run of this. And then there was a horrible assassination attempt against the president. So obviously that night was done, right? So they brought it back over the weekend.
I don't think anybody that was there wanted it to come back. It seems like nowadays everybody used to want a ticket to that thing in the press, and they would bring a special celebrity with them, like CNN would have a Caitlyn Jenner or somebody at their table, or they would bring somebody. It was a big thing. Now it seems like the media doesn't want to be there, the president doesn't want to be there, the celebrities don't want to be there. So when they had the shooting and they canceled, I thought, well, that's done. They're done. They can't even get someone to host it because everybody's afraid because Trump doesn't have a sense of humor and he doesn't understand being roasted and stuff.
Yeah.
But then they ended up having it again. Who hosted it?
By the way, I love out of all of the celebrity names you could have picked out of the sky, you picked Caitlyn Jenner.
Well, because they're always going for
somebody a little
somebody that gets them talk for their table, whoever's in the headlines that month.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you would absolutely, whether it's been Obama, Clinton, whoever, like you have to be able to be good with being literally kind of roasted.
Yeah.
Like we would see during those Comedy Central roasts. And so they've had comedians who they've asked before recently with the Trump administration who've decided to pull out. And listen, no matter what, no matter who is president, that is a really tough gig. Right.
Oh yeah,
because it's
a bad room for comedy.
A bad room for comedy. Everybody's kind of stiff and boring. They're having this dinner, and you're also kind of making fun of the leader of the free world who happens to be sitting to your right. So,
and in this particular case, one that doesn't have a sense of humor.
Right. Yeah. And so you really kind of have to walk that line. But the one thing that I thought was really interesting about Trump's comments, and interesting from a few different angles, and we'll pull up the photo here, is so Caitlin Collins was there, who's the White House correspondent for CNN, and Trump does not like her. But he also does, because she's a very attractive female, right?
Right.
But he's always saying, why do you never smile? You're so attractive. You should smile. Well,
Which women love to be told to smile.
Right.
Yeah, that's always a big thing.
She's not smiling because she's asking really tough questions about A, B, and C, right? So she's not there to
she's
smile.
one of the good ones on really pressing him when he tries to dodge a really serious question.
Right.
She'll circle back, and a lot of the other press in the room don't always do that.
And he congratulated her on winning an award that night, but then also said that she was responsible for the failure of the Bud Light ads, comparing her to Dylan Mulvaney, who is the trans activist who... Now, here's the thing that I thought was really... They kind of look alike.
Do they?
Yes.
Because usually he goes for those easy jokes.
But I mean...
And of course he thinks it's his crowd, I'm going to do transgender stuff.
Right. And listen, the joke was offensive, no doubt about it.
Right.
That's actually Caitlin Collins. But, her head put on Dylan's body.
Well...
But if you look at them side by side, they
don't encourage this behavior, Hank.
I'm saying that there was a moment where I was like, oh my gosh, they do kind of look alike. I never kind of put it together.
But what drives me crazy is, like, I get he loves to troll people, and his Truth Socials are just filled with the AI memes and this stuff. But what crazy to me now, we're a year and a half into his presidency, is that the media will still fall for it. They're like, oh, shiny thing over here, look. And then they let him off the hook on other things because they'll let this stuff fill the vacuum of the room.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are you still doing this a year and a half later when he doesn't want you to ask about the war that you started, so you're gonna like fall for the Bud Light thing.
You're gonna.
Will Dylan Mulvaney, will she actually be complimented that they said Caitlin Collins looks?
So Dylan Mulvaney overnight released a statement just saying, like in on the joke, got it, whatever, and didn't say anything, horribly negative. Just kind of was acknowledged that it happened, and Caitlin Collins just put up a quote from like Eleanor Roosevelt, like something.
Yeah, take the high road.
Took the high road. What you would expect. But I mean, here's the thing. Like first of all, I was like, wow, they kind of look alike. But also to your point, and you're going to want to punch me in the face, is I think that he is just brilliant at this type of stuff. And the idea of this is happening over here, everybody move over there. And he has a way of being able to do that, whether you agree with him or not. And this is not, we're not making
political now I think it's not even him so much as his team. Like, I think he got a lot of that from the reality TV world.
Right.
But his team now feeds into that constantly, and they know how to distract and throw 50 things out there at once. You don't even know what to be outraged with first.
It's really fascinating how they do it. Anyways, big crowd. They were able to, pull this event off. It was a safe event, thank goodness. And
no one even knew or watched it because we normal people at home have lives, and we're at Morgan Wallen concerts instead of politics backroom dinners.
I don't think it gets covered the way it used to. I think it was covered by like C-SPAN.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody just picks up the clips on X. And,
right.
The moments go viral. But that was kind of the one moment that had people talking over the weekend. So.
All right. So let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll do the episode 3. I'll spill the tea for you.
Finally.
A lot to get to. And then we'll put it to bed after that and move forward. But I know you have a lot of questions, so we'll hit them next.
I've spent my career in Detroit talking to you about scams and unfortunately have covered many mortgage-related scams. I know every trick lenders use to bury the real cost of a loan. So when it was my time to get a new mortgage, I didn't guess. I compared everyone, and I chose Hall Financial. Here's why. Best rates I found, period. No hidden fees, no bait and switch numbers that change at closing. That is not going to happen with Hall Financial. And it wasn't a call center. I was talking to real people who actually picked up the phone. They knew my name. They knew my situation. No hassle, no mountain of paperwork, no chasing anybody down for updates. They called me with the updates. They closed my loan fast, faster than any lender I had priced out. Hall Financial, the best rates, real people, no hassle, fast closings. I'm a consumer expert and I chose Hall. You should too. Call 866-CALL-HALL or visit them online at callhallfirst.com.
My car really earned its keep this weekend. I'm telling you, I put the Telluride to work, hauling bags of mulch, actually being, the designated driver at a couple concerts. I absolutely love this SUV, so I'm always the one volunteering to drive. And I have to say thank you to Tanya Lalonde at Summit Place Kia in Clinton Township and also Summit Place Kia in Auburn Hills. They found the exact Telluride I wanted with all the features I was looking for, and they made the whole process, the whole experience just super fun, super fast, super easy, as Tanya would say. They have one of the largest selections of new Kias around. Fresh inventory arriving every day. And unlike some dealers, Summit Place Kia won't play games with your trade-in. They'll give you exactly what it's worth. Honestly, just the whole process was amazing. I lease because I enjoy driving a new vehicle every few years. And here's the thing. If I don't have a great experience, I don't come back. But when I do have a great experience, I tell everyone I know. That's exactly why I'm recommending you go see Tanya. She's a friend of mine, and she could be a friend of yours. Walk in and tell her that Spike sent you. She'll hook you up. Before you get your next vehicle from someone you've never met, go with someone you can trust. Tanya Lalonde at Summit Place Kia in Clinton Township and Summit Place Kia in Auburn Hills. Call 1-800-NEW-KIAs or visit summitplacekia.com.
As many of you know, I had a legal situation and I needed help. And I also knew the only person in town that I trusted to call, and that was Todd Flood with Flood Law. What you may not know is they have a team, a big team of experienced attorneys with connections all over the state. But what really got me is they know you, they believe in you, they spend time with you. Legal situations can be scary, and you want someone who's going to fight with you every step of the way. Flood Law, over 400 cases tried. The other side knows that this firm doesn't just settle for anything less than fair. They didn't treat me like a number. They stood with me every step of the way until we got it right. So whether it's a whistleblower case, civil rights, criminal defense, employment disputes, this firm has a deep legacy of protecting people throughout the state of Michigan and right here in Detroit. Flood Law. Call today or visit them online at floodlaw.com.
Okay, so this is the part you've been waiting for. When
Yay.
we say episode 3, I'll spill the tea.
Sure.
I did address my previous job in episode 1 a little bit, explain why I'm no longer there and how it happened. But I know there's still a lot of questions. And it's obvious by all the comments that all the people have been nonstop with in all our comments, just asking us the details. They want to know more about it. So I want to address it because I want to be transparent and I want to be honest.
Yeah.
And I want to be respectful to all those who've supported me and followed me for all this time. But then I'm hoping we could put it to bed because I hate looking back in the rearview mirror so much. And
mine's in bed.
Yeah.
I bedded mine.
So I know you love when I get philosophical. And there's a Japanese legend that says...
I'm literally about to fall asleep.
Ben, did you get the eye roll on camera? No, I wrote it down because I don't know how to say it in Japanese, but it basically says, if you miss the bus, you avoided the accident. The universe protects you in ways that look like bad luck at first, but trust the detour. And that's kind of what happened when I got fired, because I kind of applied that to myself. Like, this was supposed to happen. This happened for a reason. I'm not going to get upset about it. Sure. I mean, listen, was I upset for a weekend? Yeah, I was sad. I was mad, but don't feel bad for me. It happened in the best possible way, as we discussed in episode 1, how I was getting paid the whole time I was off, and I'm grateful.
Can you read that in Japanese, please?
No. I'm trying to center myself and focus.
Yes.
Go ahead now.
You're having your Zen moment. And listen, I think that there's one thing, and this is where we are universally connected, and you have and want to kind of address some things that I do not. As I said from the very beginning, I'm mutually separated from my former employer, and I love all my people there, almost all of my people there. And so we kind of come from it from a little bit of a different perspective,
right?
Because obviously, a lot of people have been asking me what my situation is, and I think that that's been a real big bonding moment for the two of us. So
yes, but yours was all aired out in the public forum to us. Well, to an extent,
a little bit, but regarding my former employer, it was not.
Right,
It's
right,
just
right.
a situation that we dealt with privately, and
I talk about more like a divorce, because there's some things you don't want to air out in public.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a different situation because they misrepresented, and a lot of people misrepresented what actually happened.
Well, that's why we are here, my friends. So do you mind if I ask a few of the questions that got into my DMs, and then you decide if you want to answer them, and if you don't, I get it.
Okay.
But if you do, fantastic. Okay. So I think the number one question, and I got this from multiple people, is in regards to Mojo. You were on the show for what?
23 years.
3 years. And you and Mojo created this thing pretty much together.
Founded it together. I think I was on the air actually a couple weeks before he even got to town. I was the placeholder for what would become that show.
And my memory, having known both of you throughout most of all of those years, were that you guys were always very good friends, and it was very kumbaya and blah, 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 blah. So the number one question that I got from people is, do you still talk to Mojo? Are you friends today?
No.
When is the last time you talked to Mojo?
So I got pulled into the office on a Friday, and they told me, we're making a change to the show. You're no longer part of it, which you can listen. If you're listening out of order, episode 1, I'll get into. I wasn't fired. I wasn't laid off. It was a weird third thing. But that was on a Friday. And then they told the listeners on Monday morning that I was no longer part of the show. But since that day that he announced the change and told everybody that Monday morning, he never called me.
Did you call him?
No.
Okay.
And the reason was twofold. One, I believe that this was not a decision from a boss or corporate. I believe there was more people involved in wanting to make a change on the show.
Okay.
2, he wasn't honest with listeners that day. He feigned sadness and shock, but again, going back to, I wasn't fired and I wasn't laid off. It was a third thing. They wanted to change the show and hire somebody new.
Okay.
That kind of decision doesn't happen in my book. The way I look at it, a station's not going to do that without the host's blessing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I believe that,
Yeah.
he was not as shocked and surprised on Monday morning about the news.
Yeah.
So, as he did on the air, and I'm not trying to badmouth or start drama. I'm just trying to be as honest as possible.
Yeah.
Because people ask all the time. There's a lot of confusion because still to this day, like for the 3 years that followed, he would still occasionally bring up my name on the air and talk like we're still friends.
Yeah.
And I'd get texts from people because I don't listen to the show anymore. I can't. But I would get texts from people going, "Oh, he was talking about you again today." I'm like, for what? In what context? We haven't talked in 2 years.
Yeah.
But it was some weird thing he did where he'd bring, "Oh, remember Spike was in that taking pictures of that building. Remember Spike told me about this festival, this thing." And like he would just work me into conversation. So I thought, is he trying to imply that we're still friends and close?
Yeah.
Because that's very disingenuous.
Yeah. I've always had a very warm relationship with him for many years. I've been a fan and I've enjoyed him. And then when I went through my issue, he was, one of many people who was kind enough to send text. "I'm thinking of you. I'm here for you." I appreciated it very much. And then once I was completely cleared, he had reached out and asked if I could be on the show, and I declined that request because I was just still like reeling from everything.
Right.
But my attorney made himself available. And the only thing that really just didn't hit me right with that was it became very sensational. The questions that he was asking and moving towards just didn't really sit right with me as I was listening to it with my partner and my daughter in the car. And Todd my attorney, Todd Flood, had been on a few other radio shows, and they just handled it differently. And so I just was a little disappointed as a friend from that perspective. But
was it a little bit of a gotcha? Like
I just
digging for juicy stuff?
Yes, it just seemed a little, rather than focusing on having gone through this horribly traumatic experience where I was completely cleared and exonerated.
Yeah.
Focusing on that, it just seemed like it got a little tabloidy. And I just listen, he's got a job to do. I get it. There's an audience, but I also appreciate a friendship and understand it. And so I still listen to the show. I'm friends with Shannon. I love Shannon. I think she's adorable. Do you still communicate with Shannon?
I'm not going to say who I talk to
in
the building because there's a weird energy there. There's people that are scared to talk to me because of other people.
And listen, I get that.
Yeah. So I don't like to put people on the spot, and I'll answer my friends with him because that's the number one question.
Sure.
But there are still people in the building I'm friends with that I talk to.
Got it.
And there's others that don't. It's really wild. You've been through this. Once you hit a big thing like this, you find out who your friends are and who reaches out and checks in on you. And some people forget you. And the funniest part is now this week as we made the big announcement and came back and launched this, how many people reach out that haven't talked to you in 3 years, and all of a sudden they want to be your friend, and they have a new project? What are you working on, bud? And I'm like, I haven't heard from you in 3 years. So I'm crawling to my DMs now. That's weird.
I've said, and I'm not interested in naming people or doing things, but there is only one person in my life that was in my life before that I will never talk to again. Ever. Because I learned stuff that was very disheartening. And so, that's why it's again another bonding moment.
And that's why I'm clearing it up. And I'm hoping, if someone goes off and says something bad about me, fine. If they want to drag my name, that just says more about him than me. I'm moving on. I don't want to beef. I don't want to talk about this. I just know a lot of people ask all the time.
So we'll then go quickly through these because we don't want to hang on it too long. Do you talk to the new guy before, who I've also met? And, again, this is, just me relating to another person. Thoroughly enjoyed him. Nice guy. He was put in a position that it's not like he was, it motivated himself to come after you. However that works.
Oh, do I still talk to the new guy?
The
Kevin, the guy that replaced
Kev. Yes.
I honestly, I don't know him. I met him. He seems like a nice guy, really nice guy. Actually.
You met him, or he was in place before you?
I met him twice in studio.
Okay.
Mojo brought him in as a friend of his and said, "Hey, he's a friend of mine. He's interested in radio. Will you, will you
Mentor
talk to
this
him and
person.
stuff? Well, I met him. He came in 2 separate times, but that's how I figured out something was going on when he brought him back in. I'm like, is this guy job shadowing or something else
got it.
going on?
Yeah.
So what I was basically doing was meeting my replacement,
Okay.
which again goes back to that other question of like, this was not,
Yeah.
for anyone that still thinks it was a layoff,
Yeah.
they hired a new guy a month later.
Sure.
And I was still getting paid for 3 years.
Yeah.
The company was not doing this for money reasons.
Yeah.
They had to pay me to go away and be quiet and not work and compete against them.
Right. And again, like I've said, I've met Kev, and he was a really nice guy.
Totally nice guy.
And so, shows make changes, and
I just
trying to be as diplomatic.
I just met him, and then a few weeks later, it was, we're making a change to the show. I was like, oh, now all the puzzle pieces fit. And honestly, people ask me a lot about all the different changes over the past 5 years. I mean, producer Rachel's not there anymore. I think Megan's no longer part of the show. I think they moved Mike. KP was let go, producer KP. So many different things happened. I can't answer those questions for you because, one, I'm not there. I don't make the decisions, but I'm not even in the building anymore.
So after that moment in HR and you're told like you're done, do you go to your desk? Do you have like a box? Do you clean stuff out? Like, who do you call? Like,
oh, you mean the day when they actually
correct
got rid of me?
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. I got the full cardboard box walk of shame.
Okay.
Yeah, and this has never happened to me before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got called in the office. They sat me down. They said, we're making a change. I said, did I do something wrong? No. Is there a reason? No, we're just making a change to show you're no longer a part of it.
Okay.
So I'm like processing all this. And then, and then the boss, Tony, says, well, I already asked the show to step out so you can go in and get your stuff and you don't have to feel embarrassed. I'm like, oh, I don't feel embarrassed. I've been here 23 years. I'm proud of my work. Like,
yeah,
I'm not getting fired for doing anything wrong.
Sure.
So we go into the office. Now, I had already, by that point, felt something was going on. They were doing a horrible job of hiding this to me. Like, one weekend, I got accidentally locked out of my emails. Well, I'm always checking my key card. Does it work? And then I just, there was a lot of closed door meetings. There was a lot of weird attitude shifts where I almost felt like somebody was trying to start fights with me, or there was like an email exchange and things were being put in paper to do a paper trail. And I was like, what is happening here? Like, so I knew something was happening. So I already took everything home that I wanted. I literally just needed my coffee mug and my headphones.
Okay.
That was it. But I said, I never got to do this before. I never got fired before. So I want to walk out. I literally emptied out a box of t-shirts and took a cardboard box and I put my headphones and my coffee, and I was walking out of the office like, bye everyone, bye Bush, bye Cody, bye, and saying goodbye to everybody, holding my box, and everybody's like in horror and shock, like, what just happened? What's going on? They're like, the boss is walking him out of the door, and I was like, oh, I'm doing this. Like, if I got to
want a moment, baby.
I never got to do it before. So, but then I get into my car and I'm driving home in silence, like, wow, that just happened. Like, it hit me. And I was like, who could I call? Because I didn't want to call. Megan was actually at a party, a retirement party for her dad. He worked in automotive his whole life. I'm like, I'm not going to call and ruin her day and tell her.
I would think the first call is a lawyer.
Well, so that's what I was thinking. I was like, I got to call a lawyer, So I hooked up, of course, my buddy Mike Weaver, my attorney, works for Flood Law.
Yeah.
Amazing. Called him, but I also called, I was like worried mostly, are they allowed to do this? Because they didn't have cause. They didn't have a reason to get rid of me. I wanted to make sure. I was nervous about being protected, that I was going to get paid, that my kids had benefits. So I was like, texting friends, and a friend of mine who works in the governor's office said, you need a state employment attorney. She handles everything. So she gave me the number. So I text, Heidi, Spike, I went through this whole thing. I just want to make sure I'm locked in with my contract and everything's okay with my exit and my severance. And I get a text back. And these are the exchanges that happened, because I get a text back that says, wait, what? And I said, yeah, so I was just removed from my job. Nobody knows yet. This is a Friday. So I get this text exchange and it says, I think you have the wrong number. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. Sorry. Still enjoy your night. And then I get, is this a scam? And I was like, no. And it keeps on going, confused. And I just started this and I realized after she started chatting with me, this is a super fan of the show.
Oh my God.
That got a wrong text So you go to the next slide, and it just goes on. And she's like, this seems fake. I just sent you a message on Instagram. So I went to my Instagram. And I said, yes, this was me. Sorry. And her name was Mary. She was really nice. And
So you think you're texting an attorney?
Yes.
You texted a fan.
a listener. And she was like, is this a phone scam? And she starts, this is just part of it. That's it. You could take that off. But she's like, super fan. She just heard me on the air on Friday. and
Why
I'm
did you have her
texting.
cell phone number?
I was one digit off. So the person in the governor's office gave me a text, but they wrote the number wrong.
So randomly, oh my God.
I texted a listener. Nobody knows this happened yet because they didn't tell people till Monday.
God, this is wild.
So, and she thinks I'm somebody trying to scam money out of her. Then she thinks she's a phone scam on the radio because she's like, nobody knows. And then, so I had to ask her to really keep it quiet and like not tell anybody. And it ended up being hilarious because I text her back later, like, I'm taking you out for drinks because that's the funniest thing ever. When she finally heard it on Monday and realized this was real, she texts me like, this is BS. I can't believe they fired you. I was like, well, they didn't fire me. I'm still an employee. So it was like the weirdest thing to have to try and explain to someone who, and by the way, the day they announced that I wasn't on the show anymore, I had a stress test and I was going to like the medical facility to get my heart checked.
Okay.
And all the nurses heard it, and I walk in and they start crying and they're like, what are you doing here? I just heard. And I'm like, I'm fine. Don't worry. Like, it happened Friday. I had all weekend to cry. I'm
And
over
then
it.
you had to go do the stress test?
Yeah, but I kept the appointment because I thought this is the perfect test for my heart. If I'm healthy today, then I'm good. But they were trying to get me to reschedule. I'm like, ladies, you got to stop crying and get it together because you have people in here that have like serious heart concerns. You got to tell them about their health. You can't be worried about telling them.
We got to land this plane. So
Okay.
I've got one more question, but I will also tease ahead to episode
Yes.
4 because speaking of scams, what people may not know or remember is that years ago, I was the victim of a Spike phone scam. So I think you need to get into this with episode 4. Let me ask you, just because I still sometimes wake up and have like diarrhea thinking about it because it made me so nervous. It was awful. But it was really funny. And I still have it on DVD. You sent me a DVD of it.
I did.
Yeah. I mean, this is like,
Do you still have a
15 years
DVD
ago.
player to?
No, I have no idea how we'll play it, but we'll
I
figure it out.
phone scanned thousands of people.
I understand, but
Yeah.
I only remember mine. Okay, last question. Be quick with this one, Kato.
Okay.
We're late on time.
No, we're
Would-
not.
Yes, we are.
We're on a podcast. We can do whatever we want now.
Would you go back to radio?
Probably not.
Okay.
I never speak in definitive nevers, but
Yeah.
no, I don't think so. I accomplished what I set out to do. I mean, I literally lived a childhood dream. When I was 16, 17, I decided I was going to be in radio. I got to do it in the most possible way. And when they removed me from the show, I was on a number one. We were number one. There was nowhere else to go from there. And so built that. It was amazing. I had the best time ever. But also, I'm excited to build something new and see what's next. And, we've had this conversation over coffee so much, but I'm lucky enough to have a wife who's a cheerleader, who's like, take risks, like take the leap, do it, try it, build something. And I'm so grateful for everything because it wasn't just, people might only know me from Mojo in the Morning, but I worked at 5 radio stations in 3 different states and over 30 years of waking people up. It was like a dream. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get comfortable and do the same thing my whole life.
Right.
I'm already in my 50s now, so I don't want to get comfortable. I want to get curious. And that's why I love being here with you, because this is like where the audience is going now. This is where everybody is. And it's exciting to try something new and be on the edge of my seat again, nervous. Is this going to work? Because you don't want to get comfortable in this.
No.
You do the same thing every day
And
for
it's
the rest
fun.
of your
We're
life.
having so much fun. We've created something.
Oh my God.
Exciting. It's new. It's all the good things.
And by the way,
Chinese quotes up the ass.
my last job interview was in 1996, 30 years ago since I had to interview for a job. So it's bizarre, but to be able to start something new where it's all on us, like we can do this and have fun.
Yeah.
It's just the way it's, I just think I did it. It was fun. And I don't want to say never, but we'll see. I'm having fun here. I think this is where we should be.
Things happen for a reason. So you answered the
Yeah.
questions that I had. I can
Now,
up my notes.
Can we put him to bed?
Yes. We are
Because
done for at least now until I get more DMs, and then I'll circle back to
Well,
it.
and I want to end with this. Like, I don't hold a grudge. I don't like mirroring negative energy. I don't want people to feel like I'm a victim. I just I was mad one weekend, and then it was positive energy because of the thousands of supporters, the people that were sending messages and checking in, and the great stuff that people were putting, the news coverage. Oh my God, I was like watching my own death. It was like an obituary. Honestly, put up the slide, Ben, of the headlines on Fox 2 that morning. This is the craziest thing to me because this is the morning they announced I was being fired. And you remember this was the day that the president was being indicted. Trump, remember the mugshot? Trump was turning himself in.
Okay.
They put me above the president of the United States turning himself in for crimes, getting arrested. Indicted's just the rich word for arrested. And I'm like, why am I above that? But it was just like, I always forget the impact that you have when you're in media, on TV or radio.
Yeah.
When you do a show that long and you're connected to people. So the comments I got from listeners were that it held me. It really carried me through that. And so I don't hold any negative anymore. I love that time of my life. And
well, I hold a little negative to Fox too. On the converse, one particular reporter who, you can look yourself and do it. But I just
coming through the other side of it, the nice messages you and I have gotten as we announced
for me,
this week.
it's been it was overwhelming. Even then, when that reporter chose to do that story, even people in the industry were like, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
So, but I again, no grudges. I'm very happy and so thrilled to be in the space that I am in my life, because had things not happened the way they would, I would be missing a big chunk of my daughter's life. And I'm so thankful for all of that, and so thankful for Ben, my colleague from WDAB, who's now part of this team and is with Mike Morris Law, to be able to build this thing up from the ground. It's
oh my God.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun,
all our
fun,
friends have
fun.
really been behind us, and our listeners and our viewers.
Yeah.
It's amazing because I love you guys. I love you. That's why we're here together. And we're going to have a lot of fun with this podcast. And do not come into episode 4 with another card full of questions. We're done. We're going to look forward. I'm excited for what's next.
Maybe episode 5.
No. Done.
No, we're done. It's all good. Kumbaya. Make sure you like us, follow us, do all the socials. We're throwing things on the IG now.
Yes.
Which
we're on
is
everything
fun.
now. So we need you to
everywhere.
subscribe. That's the most important part, is that you follow the show every week, and then it just dumps a new episode right in your phone every Tuesday morning.
We dump, but not like at a Morgan Wallen
No,
concert.
please. That'll get you arrested.
All right, everybody. Have a good day. We appreciate the support, and we will see you with some more tea and some more juicy gossip next week, Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Your story deserves to be heard. Podcast Nation helps businesses create powerful podcasts and communication tools that engage audiences and employees alike. Visit podcastnation.com to schedule your free consultation today.